everyone. We're going to start working on rendering a scene. I think I put this up on Scholar, so this is a render template. Borrowed this from a colleague in our department. So basically, you just open up this scene and we can put our Dunny in here and render. It makes a really nice subtle lighting. So if you open up your outliner, which is in Windows Outliner, kind of see the scheme here. We've got a reflection sphere, maybe missing a material, but that's all right for what we're doing. Background sphere, light. We got 3 or 4 different lights here hitting the surface, and then we've got the render camera that we want to render from. Right now we're in perspective. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is also the master spin. This is where we're going to put our object to attach it. So I'm going to go ahead and import a Dunny. It's not finished. Go desktop and grab my Dunny here. All right, and see, you can scale it up. Basically, you see the original grid here, the origin. You can go ahead and set it up there. And I'm just going to go ahead and go to a side view here and just try to get it dead center so it doesn't wobble. Your Dunnies may be a little off here and there. Alright, so let's kind of go and look at this. It looks pretty good. And what I'm going to do is shift select to where it says attach your object and then hit P. Alright, so if we go to our play button and hit play, you can see it's going to spin around. Pretty cool. So let's go back to the beginning. So let's Apple Z that. Let's do that one more time. So let's go to the beginning. I think we want to start at that, not at 80. I started at 85. So let's shift select that, hit P again. That way, when we go to render this from our camera, that it's flat when we first start. I don't think we want it at a forced perspective of Dunny. Alright, so we've got that started. You can do a real quick test render if you want. We want to go and look through not our perspective, but through our camera here. So I'm going to go to Panels, Perspective, and Render Camera, so we can see that you should be able to see your render view through this render camera. So whatever you crop it is where it's going to stay. You can select your render camera. I'm going to go ahead and hit S, keyframe it. That way anytime you move it, it'll go back to that position. All right, so it's going to render. There's a little bit of cropping going on with the foot, so you may want to back it up. Again, this is a real quick demo, so you can work on that. So I'm going to do a real quick rendering and kind of see what's going on. Alright, so right off the bat, it's going to a nice black silhouette on the Dunny, so we don't have our material on there. So you guys are UV mapping today and working on the textures. So we're going to go ahead and lighting and shading. We're going to go to assign new material. I'm just going to put up a Lambert. You can put a blend if you want a little bit shinier, but Lambert's fine with me. Let's go to the very end. There's a lot of modeling on here. You can do edit delete history if you wanted not to have all this data here. So I'm going to go to Lambert. I'm going to go ahead and go to my color, and I'm going to make it white. Again, when you do this, you'll attach your real color on there. So let's just do a real quick render. This time you'll see it'll be white on white, or white background, but you can kind of see the light, really nice light fall off here. Alright, so we've got a 4-point lighting, so you have a nice soft lighting on this. So this is a nice setup, so you don't have to spend all that time on lighting, which can be a very painful process. So let's go ahead and let's go to our settings here. We're going to set this up for a rendering. You can see as I glide through here, this is basically 240 frames here that we want to render. So you can name it whatever you want. Always do an underscore if you're going to do a space with Maya, Dunny. And image format, we want to do, we can do IFF, TIFF, and IFF. And then we wanted to do name underscore number and extension, which is going to be IFF. And I think that's pretty good. So it's going to start frame 0, 240, and then it's going to do one frame at a time. All right. So everything looks pretty good. We're rendering from the render camera, not from perspective. Right here it says render camera. Make sure that's set up. And then right now we got 640 by 360, which is not really awesome. So let's go to a little bit of HD. I'm going to do half HD. We're going to do HD 720, which is 1280 by 720, which is fine. We're just going to go to our render options and make sure enable our default light is turned off. All right, so we're almost ready to go. I would go ahead and save it if you want. Let's do one last render. You can see my rendering size is kind of doubled up. It's a lot bigger. And so we're just doing a real quick rendering. Anytime you're rendering it, it's coming out really awful. You can always hold down the escape button for like 4 seconds. It'll stop, and then you can continue on with a different setting. But I want to let it go ahead and go through. Should only take probably about less than 30 seconds to render one of these guys. If it's taking a lot longer, you may want to look at your image. Make sure it's not larger than 4K or 2K. That should be a very simple graphic, a JPEG or a PNG is fine. All right, looks fantastic. That's going to be our first frame. Go ahead and kill this. And so now we've got it all set up, and all you have to do now is just save it. If you're going to go ahead and leave early for today, that's fine. Just go ahead and hit render and do batch rendering. That's all you do. So hit continue here, and right here you'll see something pop up and start to showcase what's going on. Now you can go to the very bottom right here. This is a script editor. It's showing in real time. This is a node-based software, so you can see in real time it's rendering the first frame 000, and then it'll go to 0001. And what you want to do is go ahead and watch this through at least the first 2 frames, and then you'll want to go into something called FCheck, and may reserve that for the next tutorial, or maybe not. So FCheck is right here on the bottom. If not, go into the Autodesk folder, Maya, and it'll say F, lowercase check, all one word, and check it out. So we're going to wait till it's done with the first 2 frames. So we got 000 and then 001. So let's go ahead and open up FCheck. It'll look like this. Basically, it's just a flip book. It's going to take your images, sequence images, and make a movie out of it, or kind of a flip book out of it. All right, so we're still here, probably at 50% now. 45. We'll just wait a couple more seconds. It would be a really lengthy video. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I think it'll probably be done by the time I find the image. So we're going to go Open Sequence, and we're going to go Desktop, or Documents. We're going to go to Maya, Projects, Default, and then Images. And so we see right here, Dunny 00. So we got 3 of them started, so we'll just go grab it first. So it'll showcase the ones that are rendered right now. This is not finished because it's not 2.8 megabytes. So we'll just go ahead and hit open. All right, see a little bit of a flutter here as the first frame showcasing the render. All right, so it'll probably take about an hour, hour and a half for the render. If you do set it up for render overnight, just make sure you go in early in the morning and log out of your computer so that people can. There are classes in here, so make sure you're off the computer and logged out. All right, so this is it. So once you get all 240 frames rendered, it'll make a movie, and then all you have to do is hit spacebar to hit play, spacebar to stop, and then we'll just do save as movie, and then call it whatever you want to call it, and then save it, just like that. Use transformations, I don't know what the other one is, but I always use transformations. That's it. That's all you need to do, and then that you'll turn in as your final product. We may even bring those into Premiere because it'll be a heavy file. Premiere will squeeze it down to less than a 1 or 2 megabyte MOV. All right, guys, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.